What's up, everybody? Coach Ceelo here, and this is episode 4 of the No Bullshit Six-Figure Sales Podcast. And today, we're going to be talking about what to do when you're getting stroked. Now, for you sales beasts out there, for my hardcore business owners that have a very strong sales presence, you already know what getting stroked is. But for those of you that don't know the terminology of getting stroked is when a buyer or a prospect leads you to believe that they are a buyer. From the very beginning, every intention, everything that they're doing is making you feel like they're ready to buy, and they're ready to buy right now. That's called getting stroked, right? And why does it happen? Well, there's a couple reasons why it happens. One of them is uncertainty. So that means that they're excited, but their excitement is not higher than their uncertainty, and so their uncertainty isn't going to let them buy. But you don't. Unless you're a beast, or unless you've got a really good system, you won't know that until the end, right? So you're thinking they're excited, you're excited, they're excited because you're excited because they're excited. And so it just looks like the rapport is there, everything's going great, and then at the end, nothing. So uncertainty. Another one is dream casting, all right? Dream casting, meaning depends on what you sell. Let's say you guys sell cars and you sell high-end cars. Now with the whole manifestation movement, everybody wants to feel like they're in the car, right? They want to take the car for a drive. And it's great for you being able to picture it and visualize it, but it's not great if you're the salesperson that's wasting their time while these people are dream casting, right? So it could be something like that. It could also be a flex. So the person may be there with their business partner, or usually with their significant other, and they're flexing. Oh yeah, for sure we can do this. Yeah, absolutely we're going to do this. And the flexing, there's different levels to the flexing, right? The flexing could be about how absolutely for sure they're going to do it. The flexing could be about how they've got so much money that they're probably going to go with the biggest package or the largest thing, or whatever the case may be. Could be boredom. They got nothing better to do, and so their entertainment is to hit you up and act like a buyer. And I know it is dumb, but believe me, folks, it happens, right? You become their entertainment. And the other part is coercion. There are some business models that attract the person on the presentation a certain way by giving them a gift or enticing them in one way or another, and so they are just there for that. And if they are hesitant to friction, what they're going to do is they want the presentation to go as smoothly as possible. They want the salesperson to think that they have a sale, so that they get to the end of the presentation, they ask for the sale, and then they can say no and they can leave. So all of these are different reasons why they happen. If you're in the car industry, you may call them tire kickers. In other industries, they're known as looky-loos. And in a lot of the industries I used to deal with, high-ticket closing and timeshare, stuff like that, they were called strokers. Now, can a stroker become a buyer? Yes, absolutely they can. Can a buyer be a stroker? Yes. That also can be, right? There are levels to this. Remember something, guys. Buyers are liars. And don't take that the wrong way. I'm not trying to talk bad about people that are considering buying your service or product. What I'm saying is just people don't always tell you what's going on between the 6 inches in their head, right? And sometimes they're not even honest with themselves. A lot of the times, Part of your job, like I said in an earlier podcast, is being a psychologist, a therapist, a friend. There's many levels to this. So a lot of the times they've got their own limiting beliefs that are not letting them get to that point. And so they're lying to themselves. And by default, if they're lying to themselves, they're going to be lying to you as well, right? So it's your job to decipher when, why, and by how much they're lying without offending. Remember, in the end, you wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for them, right? The reason why you have the ability to make the kind of money that you can make is because not everybody can do what you do. So be grateful that you have these opportunities, because if they didn't exist, then you would be a cashier, not a salesperson, and you wouldn't be able to do high ticket. You wouldn't be able to get the larger sales that will allow you the kind of lifestyle that other people have taken years and years and years of education to be able to do. But now, if you want to play at that level, you got to level up, and you got to put in some time of your own. So in the end, you are still here to serve the people, right? So first thing that you want to do is to determine if they're interested, i.e., start doing some tie downs, start doing some trial closes. If they're being too compliant, agreeing with everything, you may have a stroker. Guys, laydowns don't happen that often. They happen, but they don't happen that often. So if you consistently find yourself saying, I have a deal, I have a deal, I have a deal, when you don't have a deal, that means you're getting stroked more often than not. And listen, even the best of us get stroked. I still get stroked and laugh about it, right? But I have systems in place to deal with that. And I do certain things to pull through and to deal with that, right? So just remember, if they're bragging excessively, especially with a partner, they're probably flexing. If they're by themselves, they're probably dream casting. Look, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I wasn't always successful, right? And I remember when I was really young that, I live in Miami, Florida. I'm from Miami. We used to go up to Disney all the time. I mean, that's something that everybody from here does. It's 4 hours away. It's 3.5 maybe, depending if you've got a heavy foot. And we do it all the time. And, a lot of times when a dude gets a new girlfriend, that's the first thing they do is let's go to Disney, because it's a great way to close the sale. I mean, you're going to be gone for a weekend, right? But anyway, bottom line is, when I really didn't have much and I would go up to Disney, I didn't even really have, I'm talking about my poverty years, right? I didn't even have money to do a lot of the things that the average person would do. And what I would do is I would go on these timeshare presentations that, they would offer you money, or they would give you tickets if you sat there for 90 minutes. Now, fast forward that to today, and I paid that karma off, because I made a large part of my living within the timeshare community, and I got a lot of those. But you know what? It made me at least understand them, because I knew that when I was there many, many years ago, I couldn't afford it. That was the only way I could vacation. I'm very sad to say it, right? But I would dreamcast. And what I mean by that is I would go on these presentations and I'm like, all right, I've got to be here for the next 90 minutes. There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to buy anything, because I don't have the money to do so. I'm only here because they're going to get me free tickets, or they're going to give me money. But if I'm going to be here for 90 minutes, I'm going to have fun. Me and this salesperson are going to have fun. We're going to build rapport. I didn't call it rapport back then, but I'm just saying, we're going to buddy up. I'm going to try and make it as smooth as possible. Sound familiar? Right? But you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to create a story around myself of who I want to be in the future. And I literally would dreamcast this story. And so you got to understand, you don't know what's going on in that mind when you're talking to these people, Also, if they're trying, this is a little different, right? But if they're trying to ask questions that aren't buying questions, they're trying to shoot holes in your argument, right? This is already once it's already shifting, they know that it's coming to the end. There's different reasons why people ask questions. genuine interest. We call those buying questions. And the majority of the times, that's what the questions are. But you can tell when they're starting to ask questions where they already know the answer to, or where they're expecting the answer to be negative. And so they're trying to shoot holes in your argument, right? Anyway, as a warrior, you might not even notice until the end that you didn't have a sale, because you built so much rapport and you were so happy and everything was going so great that you really thought that was going to end in a sale. And then you're so surprised at the end that you didn't. I don't understand what happened. You should have. If it was too easy, if it felt like it was too easy, you should have known. And you should have done something differently. The general would have used trial closes and tie downs, all right? But they too may have seemed like they had a sale. They did some trial closes and some tie downs to at least gauge the temperature a little bit. And then they're like, something smells fishy here. Something's wrong. What do I do about it? At least you have an idea. Now, ninjas, as soon as they think there's too much compliance, they start asking questions. So what was your motivation on coming here to speak with me today? If they seem like they're giving buying signals, you go for a hard close right then and there. That's if you don't do that with everybody. You only do that if you're getting too much compliance, all right? Because if you're getting too much compliance, regardless of whether they're stroking or they just don't like resistance, you need to get some objection. Remember, the ninja gets the objections up front. You can't get the objections up front if they're making it look like it's a sale, right? So you've got to do something to kind of ferret that out. And what I'll do are just very hard. Oh, so wow, this sounds like this is perfect for you. How much would you like? What package do you want to do? Oh, wait, hold on. No, I mean, I don't know because of this. And now you start getting the objections out of them, right? So you just got to test them a little bit, you know? And another thing is, sometimes also when you've got people that are stroking you, because they're not taking it serious to begin with, you'll notice that you start losing their attention. And their attention will veer off. Well, guess what, guys? If you don't have attention, you don't have a sale. You need someone's attention. So you need to have patterns to interrupt what's going on. And it could be by slamming your hand on the table and then laughing, or you say something and you clap really loud, whatever. You need to bring their attention back to you. Another way is by raising the task tension. How do you raise the task tension? You raise the task tension by saying something that could be controversial or a little bit strong, kind of like when you ask them what you're going to buy. I'll give you guys an example. One time I was in New York City and I was doing a presentation, and this guy, by the way, I'm a pretty big guy. I don't get intimidated easy. But this dude was like this tall, this big. I mean, I'll still go down, but I know that if me and him threw down, it was not going to go well for me, right? And anyway, so this guy, I was losing him. And so I would be, hey, I'm over here. Hey, he started grabbing his phone. I said, look, I need your attention. If you're going to be doing that, that's a disrespect. Just let me know. We'll leave it for another time, but I need your attention right now. When I did that, the dude stared me down, locked in. I swear I thought he was going to take a swing, right? But I held my ground. I stared him back. He looked angry, and we kept going. We started becoming buddy-buddy after that. It turned out the guy wasn't part of the mob, but he was like really linked to the mob, which would have been kind of crazy, right? And he had a lot of money, and I made a huge sale with him. And afterwards, when we were closing and as we were signing closing paperwork, he said, you know what, man? You almost lost me when you started with that shit about the phone. And I looked him right in the eyes and I said, don't fucking lie. That's when you started liking me. And he laughed. Why? Because that's where he started respecting me. Up until that point, he wasn't respecting me. He wasn't respecting my time. He was just there doing what he was doing. From that moment on, it raised his awareness, because that's what happens when you do something like that. When you do something like that, you're raising the awareness, right? And aside from all that, it brings the attention in. And the minute that you've got their attention, now, it also, cortisol goes up, your breathing goes faster, your heart is, you're getting ready, your body is acting like you're about to go into aggression. But guess what else happens? You got hyper focus. And so it brought him in to start listening to me, and that's what got me the sale. So it was kind of cool. In the end, the ninja's going to do pattern interruptions to raise task tension and attention, and then continue, right? I'll give you guys another story. One time in New York City, I had a couple, and the lady was really nice, but the dude was being disrespectful. He was out there, he was looking at his phone. I did the same thing, and he doubled down, and so did I. And again, when you do this, you absolutely have to be able to back up what you're saying. Like if you're saying you're going to you got to be willing to walk away. And when I did that, then the wife kind of put him under control, and then the guy stopped. And guess what? That was another big sale. And that was a weird dynamic, because I feel that by earning his respect, she was being nice and polite from the beginning, but something happened when I earned his respect, that at that point she was liking me more as well, and in the end that closed. But again, I had to raise the tension. Now you have to deflate the tension later. You can't leave it like that, right? But sometimes you'll have to raise the task tension. So when you're dealing with strokers, what do? You raise the tension. And some of them are going to get snippy, because sometimes you're even calling them out on it, right? But it's okay, as long as you're not disrespecting the customer or disrespecting the brand by disrespecting the customer. It is absolutely okay, because they agreed to go on that presentation. They agreed to take your call. They agreed that you as an advisor would help them through this, right? So you're taking up their valuable time, but they're also taking up your valuable time. And if you can't get to that point where there's a mutual respect, then guess what? You're not going to get to the point, you don't have a sale. People tell me, oh, Chris, but I'm scared of doing that because I'm scared of losing the sale. Buddy, you don't have a sale. You don't have a sale until they know, like, trust, and then the ninja respect you. And so if that's not there, it's not going to happen anyway. So don't worry about losing something that's not there. Worry about building the frame that'll get you the sale. Guys, this is Coach Ceelo. I have helped hundreds of people make six figures, whether they're business owners, whether they're salespeople, and stick around and you'll be the next.